Welcome to Game 6 of this 2018 Mideast Regional between the Otterbein University Cardinals and the Ithaca College Bombers. Cody Alexander on the call with you today alongside my colleague and twin brother Robbie Alexander, switching places in the booth. He's usually on the call. But glad to have you all with us here on ACTV. First game went to Wabash College by a score of 4-2. They knocked out Marietta in the first elimination game of day 2. So we'll see who ends up on top during this contest and who will have their season come to an end. On the mound for the Bombers is their right-handed pitcher, Emmett Dunn. He has a 5-1 record on the year and 40 innings pitched. He owns a 4.95 ERA, 35 strikeouts, and 11 walks.
Ithaca, 4 errors on the game yesterday. They'll look to shake that off today if they want to stay alive in this tournament. Both teams suffering tough losses. Like I said, Ithaca on the errors. Otterbein gave up a lead in the 8th inning to the Adrian College Bulldogs. And not really a subtle way to put this, their bullpen imploded. 7 pitchers, and they just could not find the strike zone, including their closer, Hoffman, the moneymaker. A .44 ERA heading into that game. We'll see if he is in this game today and if he can bounce back from that outing.
Ithaca made 4 errors in their contest yesterday. Otterbein 3 errors, gave up 6 unearned runs. So we'll see if both teams can clean it up out there. Up first for the Otterbein Cardinals is their shortstop, Beachy. As we get underway, first pitch is going to be driven into the air to left field. A few steps in for the left fielder, Foresta. And he'll settle under it and put it away for out number 1. Defensive alignment for the Bombers. You have Bailey over at first base, Webb Little at second, Generali over at third, Lynch at shortstop. Left to right in the outfield is Boresta, Carey, and Sam Little. And behind the plate for the Bombers is Woolner throwing down the signs. As Dunn delivers a first pitch strike to the 2-hitter Thompson. And he's going to put that one in the air to right field, and it's going to dump down in front of Little. So Thompson is aboard with the 1-out single. That'll bring up the right fielder. Contest yesterday, Brian Stopar 1 for 5. And he's going to put that one in the ground through the hole on the left side. Back-to-back base hits for the Otterbein Cardinals, and they have something brewing here with 1 out in the first.
Yeah, 3 pitches, 3 straight solid contact, including 2 base hits. Not the way that Emmett Dunn wanted to start this one.
Luke Barber steps in, looking to continue his success from yesterday. He went 2 for 5, including a big 2-run homer that at the time put the Cardinals on top of the Bulldogs. That curveball stays high for ball 1. Second baseman Little shading towards second base. Big hole on the right side. It's a 1-0. Another curveball. That one stays up again. 2 balls, no strikes. Hard wind blowing right to left in the outfield, about 18 miles an hour. A little chillier than yesterday with that wind, but still a beautiful day. As you can see, not a lot of clouds in the sky as he's going to ground that one foul on the left side, 2-1.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble, Cody, but storms will be moving in this afternoon. Shouldn't affect this game, but unfortunately the forecast not looking great for tomorrow.
Now, when you say not great, how not great do you mean?
Well, on the little logo that shows Saturday, all it says is storm clouds now. I think it's isolated, so we should be in the clear, but we are due for some rain tonight.
Barber puts that one in the air to right field. Little's going to camp under it. Thompson tags at second. He will move up to third on the play. So 2 outs now, but Cardinals have runners on the corners. It'll bring up their third baseman, Connor Brett.
Just like last night against the Bulldogs ace, Tommy Parsons. Otterbein putting good swings on the ball early. Something that looks to be a strong suit for this Cardinal team.
First pitch from Dunn. Starts him off with a curveball again. This one finds the zone. 0-1, excuse me, now on Brett. Short lead over at first for Stopar as Dunn steps off and gives him a look. He'll check on him anyways with a throw. Otterbein 9 hits against Adrian yesterday. Another throw over by Dunn. Connor Brett 1 for 4 with the runs scored last night. He also struck out once. Here's the 0-1 from Dunn. And they are going to call a balk on Dunn. So that'll score the first run of the game as Thompson comes across to score. Stopar moves up to second. Not sure if he did not set if there was a twitch. We saw a few balks called on Otterbein in last night's contest. Robbie, did you see anything on that play?
I did not, but this is the regional tournament, so these umpires are going to be very stingy, looking for these ball clubs to play the best baseball they can, and any mistake, you're going to be called out on it. Not as lenient as you are early in the season or even in league games. This is for the crown.
Brett puts that one a chopper to third baseman, throw up the line, and it's going to get past Bailey. Here comes Stopar. The throw home is off the line. Brett cruises into second, so what looked like an inning-ending ground out turns into the second run for Otterbein. They still have a runner on second with 2 outs.
Yeah, this was the Bombers' bane yesterday. Like I said earlier, 4 errors allowed in that game. And in his post-game presser, Coach Valicente said that was what's going to make or break this team, and so far it has an early effect on the game.
Well, it's all about getting as many outs as you can without putting runs on the board. You can't give any of these teams in the regional tournament, especially an out. And that ball is going to hit the catcher Feltner on the first pitch. So Dunn, early trouble here, and runners now on second and first, and he will get a mound visit from Coach Valicente.
Not the way Ithaca wants to start this game, do or die. And in this high-stakes environment, any little error is going to cost you. You don't want to go to the bullpen early because if you survive this game, you still have a long road ahead of you. You're going to need all of the pitching you can get.
So the Cardinals center fielder Snyder will look to add to this big first inning. Tim Snyder 1 for 3 yesterday. He had 2 RBI. Here's the first pitch from Dunn. That's going to be a ground ball, but foul on the left side. Decent crowd for both teams here this afternoon. See a couple fans out on the hill.
Taking advantage of those warm spring rays.
And they're off. And that ball is going to run in and hit Snyder. So that'll load the bases for the Cardinals as Dunn's first inning woes continue. Second batter in a row that Dunn has hit. It'll bring up designated hitter Pat Beer, 0 for 3 in yesterday's contest. A couple of strikeouts. looking to change his fortunes here.
Number 16, Tom Cosentino, now going to the bullpen to warm up for the Bombers.
But that ball put in the air and caught by Little out in right field. So Dunn loads the bases, gets out of that, but not before giving up 2 runs. We head to the bottom of the first inning, 2-0 Otterbein. Stay tuned for more Mideast regional action here on ACTV. Two nothing Otterbein as we head to the bottom of the first inning here at Nicolay Field. Elimination game number 2 of day 2 in this regional. And on the mound for the Cardinals is the right-handed pitcher Johnny Putnam. And Robbie, what can you tell us about Putnam?
Well, he's got a 4-2 record, 11 appearances, 8 starts. Has an ERA of 4.73. He's given up 55 hits, 37 runs, 27 of which have been earned. Also has 16 walks issued, 43 strikes, holding them to a .278 batting average. So pretty high ERA. We'll look to see if he can tame that today.
Putnam starts the Bombers left fielder Dominic Berestov with 2 pitches down and away, and he's quickly in a hole 0-2. He goes away again, that time a fastball, and Berestov swings through it for out number 1.
Well, just like Trey Thomas last night, Putnam coming out and throwing straight gas to start the game.
That'll bring up the third baseman for the Bombers, Jake Generali. Putnam goes back out, but this one misses low, 1-0. Defensive alignment for the Cardinals, Barber at first, Stotler at second, Beachy at shortstop, Brett at third. As Generali puts that ball in the air to left field, Thompson races back and he's gonna put it away. 2 outs now for the Bombers. Finish up their alignment. That was Thompson out there in left again. That put that fly ball away. Snyder in center, Stopar in right. As we said, Putnam on the mound, and Feltner again behind the dish, throwing down the signs. So that'll bring up second baseman Webb Little, and he puts that one in the air but foul on the left side. 0-1. Ball misses out, evens things up at 1. Little 0 for 4 yesterday. He did drive in the lone Ithaca run of the contest with a sac fly. And he's ahead of the count now, 2-1. fastball put on the ground through the left side hole. So Webb Little with his first hit of this regional tournament. That puts a runner on first for the Bombers now with 2 outs. And the first baseman, Andrew Bailey, stepping in. Bailey 1 hit and 4 at-bats yesterday, also drew a walk. Putnam starts him off with a ball in, 1-0. Little a modest lead off of first base, but getting a fairly large secondary. Second baseman Stotler shaded towards the bag as Putnam checks on Webb over at first. It's his sign, the 1-0. That ball in again, but this one catches the black, evens things up at 1 apiece. And the runner goes. That ball put in the air into left field. Thompson coming in, and he will secure it for out number 3. 2-out base hit for Little, but he's stranded at first base. We go to the top half of the second. Cardinals lead the Bombers 2-0. You're watching Mideast Regional Baseball here on ACTV.
What the?
Nine 1-2 due up for the Cardinals here in the top half of the second inning, looking to add to their 2-0 lead. As Dunn ran into a little bit of trouble. A defensive miscue by the third baseman. But he starts off Stotler with a strike.
Yeah, had to face 8 batters that first inning. Able to hold them only to 2 runs, though, as he left those bases loaded. So we'll see how he comes out this inning. Still a man lurking in the bullpen for Ithaca, but more of a stretch than anything.
Stotler fouls that one, backing out of play. 0-2. Mitch 0 for 4 in last night's contest. He takes that fastball high. 1-2 now on Stotler. Puts that one in the air in the right center gap. The center fielder Carey shades over and is able to put it away for out number 1. That'll bring it back to the top of the Otterbein lineup with shortstop Ben Beachy up at the dish.
All 8 teams so far this tournament featuring very solid outfielders. A lot of hard hit balls that you would think would be in the gap always have pretty much ended up in the glove. Also a couple of great diving plays out there in game number 1.
And Beachy hits that one hard down the line and left. That's going to get all the way to the left field corner. He's going to take the turn and head into second. And he pulls in with a 1-out stand-up double.
Just like last night and the first inning, these Cardinals taking advantage of those mistakes put over the heart of the plate.
Obici ranked 3rd nationally coming into the contest with 22 doubles. That one is 23rd. Also set a new single season program record as Thompson squares to bunt, but he pulls it back 1-0. Just another hanging pitch by Dunn. Beachy just throws the barrel at that one. Finds its way to the corner. Here's the 1-0 from Dunn. Instead, he bluffs over to second. But nothing doing by Beachy. Stares in at Woolner. Wind starting to pick up a little bit here. The 1-0 pitch. It's a curveball that catches the outside part of the plate. 1-1 now on Thompson. Shortstop Lynch shaded over. And that curveball is going to be put into center field for a base hit. Beachy is going to be held at 3rd. And Otterbein again has something brewing. Runners on the corner here with 1 out in the top of the 2nd.
Nice swing there by Tyler Thompson. Not trying to do too much with that curveball. Our part of the plate, able to just flick it over that shortstop's head.
Stopar now up at the plate. He had a single in his first at bat. Came around to score the 2nd Otterbein run. First pitch is a curveball, and that ball's put in the air to left field, and it's going to get down. Beachy's going to score. It's now 3-0 Cardinal lead.
Almost a bad break there for Ithaca as that ball hit the turf and took off. And the left fielder, Baresta. Nicolay Field, known as the bounce house. When it hits that turf, not only does it take off, but it bounces fairly high compared to other turf fields. Last night's game, we saw one almost go over the left fielder, Gunnar Rainey's head for the Adrian Bulldogs. Had to jump up, time it, almost like he was going for a tip-off.
And Barber puts that one in the air to center field. Carey has a beat on it. He'll put it away. Thompson bluffs to 3rd, but he's going to hold. As Carey one-hops that throw into 3rd. 2 outs now for Otterbein. But yeah, Robbie, as you were saying, this turf is known for the bounce. The first game of today, that was Wabash and Marietta. Marietta actually had 2 balls that looked like they were just going to be bouncers right into the mid of their defenders. One went over their first baseman's head. That ended up scoring a run. Another one was a hard hit ball into center. That one got all the way to the wall on a weird hop. And Dunn's day is going to be done as Coach Valicente is going to go to the bullpen. We'll give this mystery man a chance to warm up, find out what he's about, what he's done so far. Don't change that channel. We'll be back with more Otterbein versus Ithaca baseball here on ACTV. Well, Ithaca, not what they wanted to do, going to their bullpen here in the second inning. And they will send right-handed thrower Tyler Hill to the mound. He threw 1 inning yesterday after Jake Binder's strong starting performance. He actually struck LaRoche out 1-2-3 on 12 pitches.
Yeah, did just about everything a coach could ask out of a reliever. A little bit of a different task now, trying to hold Otterbein to this 3-0 lead, and I imagine he'll go longer than the 1 inning he threw yesterday.
The first pitch to Brett up in the zone, a fastball, and he swings through it 0-1. Otterbein up 3-0 here in the second. Thompson on second, Stopar over at first. And Hill will bluff over to second, nobody covering.
Connor Brett reached on an error by the third baseman his first time up.
And Hill will step off. Thompson getting his attention over there at second. Well, Brett reached via an error by the third baseman Generali his last time up. Later stranded on third, and he puts that one foul out of play. He's now in the hole, 0-2. Oh, 2 pitch. Fastball high, 1-2. Defense playing normal depth. First baseman Bailey back, not holding Stopar on. And Hill is going to step off again. Wolner throws down the sign. Hill comes set. The 1-2 pitch. That ball's put in the air to left field by Brett. Baresta is going to shade over, come back to where he came from, and finally settle under it for the out. Looked like the wind might have played with that one a little bit. So Otterbein picks up another run here. They now lead 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning here in Game 6 of the Mideast Regional. You're watching baseball at Nicolay Field here on ACTV. Otterbein brings a 3-0 lead here into the bottom of the second as both the Cardinals and the Ithaca Bombers look to extend their season. And Ithaca will send their right fielder up to the dish to start things off. Sam Little paced the Ithaca lineup yesterday with 2 hits and 4 at-bats. And he fouls that one up down the line and left, but it looks like it's going to find its way out of play, and it does. As we mentioned yesterday on the broadcast, Robbie, Sam Little has a brother. You've already seen him. He's the 3-hitter for Ithaca, Webb Little. As Sam bends out of the way of that fastball up and in, evens the count at 1. And we've seen a few pairs of brothers here in this regional already. Little smashes that one by the diving glove of Lynch into center field. So Sam picks up his third hit of this Mideast Regional, and Ithaca has a runner on first with nobody out.
Well, as you were saying, it's always something special and unique to have a family member on the same team as you, because not only are they there to pick you up when you're down, but they're also there to push you a little harder. There's always some friendly competition going on between the two family members, and they know how each other works, so able to motivate one another in times that maybe other teammates could not.
The first pitch, the center fielder Carey up and in. He showed bunt but pulls back. 1 ball, no strike.
And with the Littles being two of the better hitters for the Bombers baseball club, you got to imagine that all those things have been going into play since they made their Ithaca debut a couple years ago.
The only 2 hits on the day so far for Ithaca have come from both of the Little twins. That pitch inside to Carey, 2-0.
You know, when you and me played together, seems like, well, you couldn't really calm me down. I had a bit of a temper when I played, but it seems like if anybody on the team was going to calm me down, it was going to be you.
Hopefully the Littles have that relationship.
Hopefully without the temper, because it's not a good thing to have on the ball field.
Not really a good thing to have anywhere.
It is not.
As Putnam comes up and in again, 3-0 now on Carey.
Well, luckily a lot of people grow out of it once they get out of high school, as did the 2 of us.
Little has a little lead over at first base. And Carey takes a fastball all the way, 3-1 now. Well, Putnam a fairly easy first inning. Gave up a 2-out hit to Webb Little, but other than that, a strikeout and 2 flyouts to left. That's another fastball that misses in for ball 4. So the Bombers now have something brewing here with no outs in the bottom of the second. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Adam Gallagher, who looks to shorten this gap here in the second. Gallagher 0 for 3 in yesterday's contest, had a couple of strikeouts. First baseman Barber shading in, guarding against the bunt. So was the third baseman. That ball up and in, as Gallagher did show, but he pulls back. And now Feltner will call time and have a word with his pitcher. Sam Little on second base, Carey on first. 3-0 Otterbein here in the bottom of the second inning. There's a 1-0 count on the batter Gallagher. He squares again, corners running in. He's going to drop the barrel and pop it up, but it finds the foul territory turf.
Got away with one right there. Drop the bat head. As you know, anytime you do that, it's going to spell trouble, as Coach Valicente now going to have a quick word with him.
The proper way to bunt a pitch down in the zone is not to drop the bat head, but rather to give with the knees. And yesterday we saw a few bunts that were popped up, a couple stellar plays as well, but haven't seen picture perfect bunting really yet this 2018 regional tournament. The count 1-1 on Gallagher. Brett even with the bag. He'll be charging, I'm sure. Barber starting in on the infield turf. Putnam steps off. Little game of cat and mouse here. Gallagher sporting a Marucci bat. There's the 1-1. He's swinging on that one, and he'll foul tip it into the glove of Feltner. Now 1-2. So the corner is now playing even with the bag. Beachy and Stotler playing deep, double play depth. The 1-2 pitch. He fouls that one straight back and stays alive. I don't think we have any flinches up here in the box. It's our producer. Owen is not. He's shaking his head. He didn't flinch. Robbie, did you flinch here?
I did not. I tracked it into the netting, but might I just say Owen has been the MVP of this tournament so far up in the press box. He's doing it all.
And that pitch just misses. Count now even 2-2. Owen definitely putting our producer during the regular season, Nick Rizzo, to shame, which is funny because Nick Rizzo is actually the first cousin of Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo. We've mentioned it a few times. As Putnam fires a strike across the knees and freezes Gallagher for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Gallagher having a tough go-around in this tournament so far. 4 at-bats, 3 of them have ended in strikeouts.
Runner still on second and first now with 1 out, and that brings up the shortstop, Jack Lynch, who also went 0 for 4 yesterday. Putnam checks Little over at second. Here's the pitch. That ball low, 1-0. We've seen some great baseball so far today. As we said earlier, Marietta and Wabash playing in the first elimination game. Wabash took that game by a score of 4-2. As Lynch takes a ball low and away, 2-0.
Really great baseball all tournament long. Here in game number 6, the first 5 have only been separated by a couple of runs, and even last night's game that ended by a score of 11-5, that one was close till the very end, and the score did not reflect Otterbein's performance on the field as they played a very tough game.
And Lynch lines that one into left center. They will hold Little at third. He froze. It wasn't a high line drive. Beachy almost made a play on it just out of the reach of his glove. So bases now loaded for Ithaca. Still only 1 out, and that'll bring up the catcher, Andrew Wallner, looking to drive in at least 1, maybe 2 here with a base hit. Wallner. Oh, go ahead, Robbie.
I was going to say, Wallner 0 for 2 yesterday, but had a run scored and also had 2 walks to his name.
He puts that one up in the air behind the plate. Feltner looks like he has a beat on it, and he does. Tough break for Ithaca. Pops out to foul territory. They're now 2 outs. Well, we saw this a couple times in the first game today. Wabash loaded the bases twice early in the game with 2 outs. Couldn't capitalize. They eventually pushed across 4 runs.
Well, Ithaca left 12 on base yesterday against La Roche. So that combined with errors really resulted in their game 1 loss, and they are really trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. 3 on and 2 out.
The leadoff Baresta hits that one in the gap in left center, and it gets down to score 1. Little comes in. And Carey also crosses the plate. Baresta slides into second with a 2-run double. Well, Putnam just hangs that breaking ball first pitch. Baresta all over it. Coach Valicente talking with Lynch over at third base. I think he probably thought that he should have scored on that play, but nonetheless, Ithaca now cuts the Otterbein lead to 1. It is now 3-2 Otterbein. And the third baseman, Generali, up to the dish. He puts that ball in the air to left center as well, but Thompson has a beat. Snyder also shades over, and it'll be Snyder who puts it away. But not before Ithaca pushes 2 runs across with a 2-out bases loaded double by Baresta. So the Cardinals look to expand their lead. That is now 3-2. You are watching Mideast Regional Baseball here on ACTV. Top of the third here at Nicolay Field as Otterbein sends their catcher Feltner up to the dish. Ithaca loaded the bases with 2 outs in the bottom half of the second. Got a double by their leadoff hitter Baresta and cut the lead to 3-2. As Hill fires one in there, a check swing by Feltner. He'll ground out to the second baseman Webb Little on 1 pitch. Hill came into the game in the last inning after the starting pitcher Emmett Dunn struggled. He put gave up 3 before he parted. And Hill came in to get the last out of the inning.
Yeah, hard day for Emmett Dunn. Even when he was getting outs, these Otterbein hitters were all over him. Just hard hit fly balls into the outfield. Unfortunately, not able to find his stuff today.
Well, center fielder Snyder up to the dish now, as he takes that curveball and hammers it into center, but it's going to hang up long enough for the center fielder Carey to put it away. So 2 quick outs here for Otterbein in the top half of the third. That'll bring up their designated hitter, Pat Beer. He flew out to right field his first time up. As Hill starts him off with a fastball on the outside part of the plate. Well, Robbie, you actually missed the first inning, or excuse me, the first game of today, as Beer puts that one down the line. A nice play by Generali, but he's going to throw it over the head of Bailey. Little backing up the plate all the way, so Beer will have to stay put at first base. They're going to rule that one a hit. A tough play by Generali. Just couldn't get the throw down. So Otterbein now with the runner on first with 2 outs. That'll bring up their second baseman Mitch Stotler, who flew out to center his last time up. He shows bunt, but is going to pull back. But it'll catch the outside part of the plate. 0-1. As I was saying, Colorman Robbie here missed the first game of today. He's actually participating in the first annual Adrian Film Festival. So Robbie, can you tell us a little bit about that if we have time, as Stotler takes a curveball, that time again on the outside part of the plate. He's now in the hole 0-2.
Yeah, it was started by 2 Adrian College professors, Mike Neal and Scott Westfall. And it started with a pass note in the new faculty meeting back in October. And ever since then, they have been working day and night to put this together. It kicks off tonight at 6 o'clock in downtown Adrian. 8 different venues, 38 different films, from animation to student to documentaries, a couple feature-length films. It's going to be a great time. A lot of vendors are going to be downtown. They have a popcorn machine, a trolley man, and just a fun atmosphere, looking to make it a great inaugural Adrian International Film Festival.
And Beard takes off for second and slides in there safely. They're going to see if Stotler swung. They say he checked his swing, so it'll be ball 2. 2-2 now on Stotler, with Beard standing on second after that stolen base.
Couple international films as well, all the way from Greece. So like I said, kicking off tonight at 6. That will run all through the day tomorrow. So for anybody here who's watching, find some time between baseball games, go out and watch an independent film, because a lot of these directors have worked very hard on it and are very proud of their work.
So a lot happening in the little town of Adrian, Michigan this weekend, as Stotler pops out to shallow left field. Lynch does a nice job of ranging over and putting it away. So the Ithaca Bombers, the Otterbein Cardinals put a runner on base, move him over to second with a stolen base, but can't drive him in. So we will go to the bottom of the third, still 3-2 Otterbein. You're watching Mideast Regional Baseball here on ACTV. Well, Johnny Putnam goes back to work, facing 3, 4, 5 in the Ithaca Bombers lineup, as the Cardinals take a 3-2 lead here into the bottom of the third. Wade Little steps to the dish, Webb Little. He singled his first time up. That time he fouls it out of play on the left side, 0-1. You know, I accidentally called Webb Wade yesterday as well. I don't know if anybody caught it, but I apologize, Webb.
You'll get it.
A lot of new names that we were seeing this week, as he hits a little nubber again up the third base line, but easily foul. So Webb quickly in the hole now, 0-2. Well, Putnam cruised through the first inning. Gave up a single and a walk to start the second. Both of those came around to score, but then settled down again for the most part. As he fires a fastball in there high. Count now 1-2 on Little. Little puts that one on the ground and up the middle for a base hit. Little two-strike hitting demonstration there by the Ithaca second baseman for the second inning in a row. The Bombers have their leadoff man aboard.
Second hit of the day for Little. Yesterday, Sam was swinging the hot bat. He's trying to take that title back today.
Well, up now is the first baseman, Andrew Bailey. He flew out to left field to end the first inning. And Little is going to take off for second. Bailey puts that one on the ground to the right side, so the hit and run works. Putnam, quick off the mound, is the one to retire him with a flip to first. But a nice job there by Bailey. When the hit and run is on, that's what you want to do. You want to put the ball on the ground to the right side.
Yeah, and it was a great play by Putnam on the mound. Once you throw that ball, you got to field your position. He showed just that, but on a hit and run, you don't want to put it to the left side, because if you do that, still a good chance for a double play the right side. That runner taking off, not only will he make it to second, but if it squeaks through that right side hole, he might end up all the way on third base.
Sam Little fouls that one out of play. he looks to drive in his brother from second base. Sam a single back in the second inning. He also had 2 hits in yesterday's contest. Putnam looks his brother over at second and fires a fastball inside and low. Count evens at 1. Well, Sam hitting .347 coming into today's contest, has driven in 36 runs. He's also scored 29. That fastball put on the ground, up the middle and through, a base hit. Webb Little, that is, coming around to score. And the Little Twins knot things up at 3 here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, just like Webb, Sam not trying to do too much with that pit. Outside part of the plate, manages to hit it right back up the box.
Give him RBI number 37 on the year. The Bombers a runner on first with 1 out, looking to take the lead as Putnam checks Sam over at first base. Center fielder Carey now up to the dish. He walked back in the second inning, came around to score. And Robbie, I think the best thing for us to do is just to call the Little Twins by their first name to avoid any mix-ups, because I don't know if the viewers out there could tell, I got a little mixed up trying to call that base hit and the subsequent run by Webb.
It may be the best course of action.
Short lead off of first base for Sam. Putnam checks him again. Well, both teams have 6 hits so far on the day, also have 3 hits apiece. Ithaca has committed 1 error thus far. Here's the first pitch to Carey. Hard ground ball down the third base line, but foul, 0-1. Well, Ithaca has made 47 NCAA tournament appearances. Their all-time tournament record is a solid 124 victories to 93 losses. They also have 2 NCAA titles, one in 1980 and another in 1988. Putnam gets the sign, comes set. It's the 1-0. Little off for second base. Here's the throw by Feltner, and he would have had him, but Beachy unable to handle the throw. But they are now saying, I think they are sending him back to first base. They're calling batter's interference on that one, so no stolen base. Carey is out. And there are now 2 outs with the runner on first. The designated hitter Gallagher comes up to the plate. So it was a 2-strike swing there that Carey must have fallen over the plate on. Got in the way of Feltner. It was a great throw by Feltner regardless. He had the throw right on the bag. But luckily for Otterbein, Carey was a little too much in his way. Here's the 1-0 to Gallagher. Ball in the dirt. Nice block by Feltner. He's going to back pick down to first, but Little is back in time. (2-0) now on Gallagher. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third as Sam gets his lead off of first. That fastball finds the inner part of the plate. 2-1 now. Another throw over to first base. Shortstop and second baseman, that's Stotler and Beecher. Shaded up the middle. Brett playing fairly close to the line at third. And another throw over to first. This one a little closer, but Little again back in there in time. Bit of a hazy cloud cover starting to creep into Nicolay Field. Still a very pleasant day. It's the 2-1 pitch. That ball down and away for a strike, even at 2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Things knotted up at 3 between Otterbein University and Ithaca College. The 2-2 pitch. That ball is going to be grounded to the left side. Beachy's going to get it, and he's going to get the out at second base. A nice play by Beachy going to his backhand and making the off-balance throw to second for the force. But not before the Ithaca Bombers knot things up. It is now 3-3 after 3. And don't you go anywhere. You're watching a pretty good ball game in the 2018 Mideast Regional here on ACTV. Things all knotted up at 3 between Otterbein and Ithaca here in elimination game number 2 on the day. As Tyler Hill gets back to work, he's got 15 pitches so far, and he will face the top of the Otterbein order, starting with shortstop Ben Beachy, who doubled and scored his last time up.
Beachy, a junior out of Springsboro, Ohio.
And having an excellent year, recently named the OAC Player of the Year. He's the 3rd Cardinal ever to receive the honor. As he hits a hot shot into left field over the head, the 3rd baseman Generali, and he's aboard with his 2nd hit of the ball game. So next up is the left fielder, Thompson. 2 for 2 on the day. He's got a single, a double, and a run scored. As Hill checks Beachy over at first base. Beachy 8 for 13 so far in stolen base attempts. There's another check over to first base. Otterbein 76 steals this year as a team, so they will run a little bit if they get the chance. And that ball up and in on the squared Thompson. There's 1-0 now on the Cardinal left fielder. Third baseman Generali playing in case he decides to try to put one down. And he squares again, this ball high. 2-0 now on Thompson. Well, compared to Ithaca, Otterbein, a few left NCAA regional appearances. They've made 11 in their program history. 21 and 23 record coming into this tournament. The best finish that they had was in 2006 when they lost in their regional final. The count on Thompson now 2-1. He's going to put that one foul out of play on the right side. Evens things up at 2 apiece.
Well, the Bombers have a new third baseman. That's number 29, Cam Fuoti.
Just made aware of that one, so it's not Generali at third anymore. It is Fuoti. So he was the one shading in on the bunt, but with 2 strikes, he's now playing behind the bag at third. So modest lead off of first by Beachy. Here's the 2-2 from Hill. A curveball, and that ball is going to be into the left center gap past the diving Lynch. Center fielder Carey does a nice job of going over and cutting that ball off, so Beachy will hold at second. Back-to-back hits for Otterbein to start the 4th inning. They still have no outs. That'll bring up the right fielder Stopar. Also has 2 hits on the day, including an RBI single in his last at-bat. Robbie, it seems like these Otterbein Cardinals have done a nice job of squaring pretty much all of the curveballs that they've been thrown today.
Yeah, it seems like no matter who this Otterbein lineup is facing, they're just going to keep putting good swings on it. They've been reading balls well. Just a matter of continuing to drive in those runners when they get them on base.
That pitch down and away looked like maybe a changeup. Stopar can't hold his swing. 1-1.
The Cardinals already 9 runners left on so far.
The 1-1 from Hill. Stopar squares, and he's going to bunt that one straight back. He's now in the hole, 1-2. Beachy on second base, Thompson on first. No outs here in the top of the 4th. As Hill checks the runner, here's the pitch. That curveball in the dirt for strike 3. Nice block there by Woolner, keeping it in front of him. First base occupied, so no throw necessary. 1 out now for the Bombers, as Otterbein sends their first baseman up to the dish.
Here in the 4th inning, the first strikeout by an Ithaca pitcher today.
First pitch to Barber. He's going to foul tip that one right at the plate, 0-1. Barber 0 for 2 today. He's flown out to center field twice. Woolner will have a word with his pitcher. As we said earlier in this broadcast, Barber had a pretty big day yesterday. Had 2 hits, including a big 2-run homer off of Bulldogs ace Tommy Parsons. The only home run, actually, that we've seen so far in this regional. So Ithaca, and specifically Tyler Hill, should be a little careful with him up there at the plate with 2 runners on. The 0-1 pitch is going to be a hot shot to the third baseman. Fuoti steps on third for 1, fires across, and they will get the big double play. A nice play by Fuoti. Looks like the ball might have caught him, but he does a nice job of getting the glove on it, getting the force out at third, and the strong throw over to complete things.
A bit of a stumble when he first got handcuffed by that ball. When he stepped on third, wasn't sure if he'd be able to get the out at first, but a great job being aware.
So we go to the bottom of the 4th innings, things still tied up at 3 apiece. We will see if Ithaca can get things going once again. And don't you change that channel. You're watching Mideast Baseball here on ACTV. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning, things tied at 3 between Otterbein and Ithaca. And the Bombers will send their 8-9-1 hitters up to the plate. Getting things started is the shortstop, Jack Lynch. Putnam fires a fastball up and away for ball 1. Lynch, Woolner, Baresta on tap to head to the dish in this 4th inning. As Lynch takes a strike at the bottom of the zone to even things up. Lynch a single in his first at bat. He was stranded on 3rd. That was back in the 2nd inning. As he squares to bunt, he's going to put that one up the 3rd base line. Otterbein's going to see if it rolls foul, and it will stay on the foul line, which in this case I think we should call it the fair line because that is a fair ball. And Lynch with the leadoff bunt single to get things started for Ithaca in the 4th inning.
A little bit of a tease at the end. Looked like it was going to roll just foul, and at the last second decided to curve right back into fair territory.
So up now for Ithaca is the catcher Woolner, who popped out in foul territory to the catcher his first time up. And Lynch a fairly large lead than what we've seen in this contest off of first. As Woolner takes a fastball inside for ball 1. Gets his sign. Looks over his shoulder, and he'll check Lynch over at first base. Well, Lynch 5 for 5 in stolen base attempts this year. And he's about 4 steps off the bag at first, maybe 5, as Putnam delivers to the plate. That fastball down and away. 2-0 now on Woolner. The Ithaca backstop hitting .295 on the year. He's got 13 hits in 44 plate appearances. And he puts that ball in the air to center field. And Snyder in perfect position to put that one away. So with 1 out, that'll bring their leadoff hitter Baresta up to the plate. He had an RBI double in his last at-bat. Baresta, a .301 average coming into this contest. He's driven in 27 runs, has scored 43. That's 2nd best on the Bombers squad, as Putnam checks Lynch over at first base again. Putnam with the red and black glove out there on the bump. He has the long black laces. Could be distracting to a hitter. I know I've talked to some hitters on the Adrian squad who absolutely hate it when pitchers have those long laces. As Baresta squares and bunts, Brett will field that one, throw on to first. So Ithaca puts the sacrifice on, move Lynch over to second base. So the Bombers now will try to score this run with 2 outs. bring up the third baseman, Cam Fuati, who made a nice stop that started a double play, a 5-3 to end the top half of this inning. He came in for Generali, who started the game. So this is his first at bat, and he starts it off with a fastball in, 1-0.
Fuati, a .331 average on the year, 40 hits, 7 doubles, 2 triples, has 2 home runs and 20 RBI. He's also scored 24.
Long look over at second by Putnam. And time called at the plate by Fuati.
Yeah, a lot of times when time is called that late, you'll see the pitcher go ahead and throw anyways. Putnam decides to hold on to that one.
Putnam, a lot of long sets, a lot of long holds. It looks like that's what he likes to go to with runners on to vary his timing. A big swing and a miss by a breaking ball down and away, evens things up at 1 apiece. Shortstop Beachy shading towards second to guard the runner Lynch. As Brett shaded towards the third baseline, so a big hole on the left side. That 1-1 pitch in the turf, nice block by Feltner. 2-1 now on Fuati. Wind starting to die down a little bit. 69 degrees was the game time temperature. Kind of a lazy Friday afternoon for baseball, but I'm sure a lot of people don't mind that.
A good setting for day 2 of the tournament.
Fuati gets that one in on his hands. Brett charges and throws across the diamond to Barber to get the final out of the 4th inning. Bombers put a man on second, fail to score him. We'll go to the top half of the 5th inning. Otterbein and Ithaca still tied up at 3. We'll see if Otterbein can get anything going here on ACTV. Wollner throws down to second, which means we are starting the top half of the 5th inning. Otterbein and Ithaca all knotted up at 3 here at Nicolay Field in Game 6 of this 2018 Mideast Regional. Starting things off for the Cardinals is the third baseman, Brett. He reached on an error his first time up, flew out to left back in the 2nd inning, and he'll start off with a fastball for an 0-1 count. As Hill spikes a curveball in the turf to even things up at 1. Well, Brett hitting a solid .327 coming into today's contest, has driven in 44 runs, and he skies that one in the air to shallow center field. Webb Little was camped under it, but his brother Sam will call him off at the last second to put it away. Well, the general rule of thumb on balls like that, if it reaches the outfield grass, then it is the outfielder's ball. That is exactly what happened there as Sam takes it at the last second. So 1 out now as Feltner squares and pulls back. He's up in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. He's going to hit that one in the air to left field. Baresta started in. Now he goes back, and he's going to catch that one right near the left field wall for out number 2.
Well, that wind has taken another sudden turn, now blowing from right field out to left field. Carry that ball just a little bit further, right in front of that tall wall out there.
Well, there's a couple times already in this game where we've seen an outfielder start one way on a fly ball and ends up turning around and going the other way. So 2 outs now, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Snyder. He is 0 for 1 today with a hit by pitch and a fly out to center field. As Hill continues to mow down these Cardinal hitters. There's a pitch down and away that Snyder swings over top of. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch from Hill. That pitch misses inside, 2-1. That ball, a line drive into center field. Carey runs in, and he'll put it away for out number 3. 3 fly balls, 1 to each outfielder. And the Cardinals will try to hold Ithaca to 3 runs as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Still tied at 3. And you're watching Mideast Regional Baseball here on ACTV. Johnny Putnam goes back to work here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Otterbein and Ithaca still tied up at 3. Putnam has 58 pitches through 4 innings, averaging about 15 pitches an inning, which is a fairly good rate. And he'll face the heart of the Ithaca order. 3-4-5 due up. He starts Webb Little off with a fastball outside, 1-0. Webb 2 hits on the day, including a single back in the 3rd as he puts that one on the ground. Beachy routine play, throw a little up the line, but Barber able to stay on the bag. 1 out now, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Bailey, who is 0 for 2 on the day.
Ithaca College, about a 7.5-hour drive from Adrian, established in 1892. Just under 7,000 students. Known to play a substantial role in the media and entertainment industries. They have top programs for journalism, film, media, and entertainment.
2-0 now on Beachy. And Robbie, I know when you were doing research before this regional, you were getting particularly excited about Ithaca College. As Bailey swings at that off-speed pitch off the plate outside. Feltner will throw down to Barber to complete the strikeout. Third of the day for Putnam, and that gives Ithaca 2 outs now in the bottom of the 5th. But as I was saying, you were getting pretty excited about what they had to offer. Robbie, a recent graduate of Adrian College, about 3 weeks recent, 2 weeks?
About 3 weeks this weekend we will have been graduated. Is that one into right field off the bat of Sam Little for a base hit.
His 3rd hit of the ball game, 5th of the tournament. Sam Little is having an excellent 2 days here in Adrian. That'll bring up the center fielder, Carey. He walked back in the 2nd, came around to score. Struck out in the 3rd inning. But Robbie, as we were saying again, a recent graduate, a communication student. He actually has a film in the Adrian International Film Festival. That's part of the reason that he's going back and forth between here and downtown Adrian. His film will be showing on campus tomorrow. A little senior capstone about a college kid who just is not having a great day. As that ball in the dirt, a nice read by Little. The throw by Feltner will not be in time. So Sam Little moves up on the wild pitch. The Cardinals now have a runner, or excuse me, the Bombers now have a runner on second with 2 outs.
I can't take all the credit on that film. Cody here, being modest, he was the star of the film. Being my twin brother, I was able to get him to do things that a lot of actors probably wouldn't do.
Like running. I had to do a lot of running.
He did do a lot of running.
That pitch misses low. 3-0 now on Carey.
So much running, in fact, that you may have to talk to some of these coaches. You might be able to be a pinch runner for the rest of the tournament. Got you in good shape. And a business major starring in a film. You don't see that on many resumes.
3-1 now on Carey. And it's true that I'm a business major, but you know, I spent a lot of time in the comm building for being a business major. And I didn't even major in comm, as Carey takes another ball in the turf for ball 4.
Well, the professors often refer to you as an honorary comm student, and I know I got many earfuls from Dr. Christy Winkles trying to get me to convince you to become a communications major, but I had to keep informing her that that was not going to happen.
It's part of the reason why I'm in this booth is because I enjoy that field. Ithaca now runners on first and second with 2 outs. The designated hitter Gallagher fouls that first pitch out of play. Sam Little on second base. He has speed, so a base hit to the outfield will most likely give the Bombers their first lead of the day. The 0-1 pitch from Putnam. Inside, 1-1. Carey on first base. Little, like I said, on second. 3-3 Otterbein Ithaca here in the bottom of the 5th. As Putnam fires a strike low in the zone. And Gallagher now down in the count, 1-2. As we hear some grumbling from the Bombers dugout. 1-2 pitch. Gallagher able to lay off of that curveball on the turf, evens things up at 2 apiece. A base hit here would be huge. I think we have to remind the viewers here, this is an elimination game, so whoever loses this contest will be going home. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runners on first and second. Here's the pitch. That's going to be chopped to the third baseman, Brett, who will field it on a hop and throw over to Barber to end the Ithaca threat. So after 5 innings, the Cardinals and the Bombers still knotted up at 3. We'll see if Otterbein can push across a run as we go to the top of the 6th inning here on ACTV. Beer, Stotler, Beachy due up for the Cardinals here in the top of the 6th inning, as Otterbein and Ithaca take a 3-3 tie into the top of the 6th. Hill still on the mound for the Bombers, and he starts Beer off with a fastball who fouls it straight back into the net. Beer 1 for 2 on the day. He singled back in the 3rd inning, was not able to come around to score. And he takes a ball there to even the count at 1. That pitch popped up as Fuodi gives it a chase, but it will find its way onto the roof of the 3rd base stands. 1-2 now on Beer. The Cardinal designated hitter sporting the striped stirrup socks and the white cleats. And he takes a ball there. 2-2. We've seen a lot of teams here, Robbie, with the striped stirrup socks as part of their uniform, as Beer hits a liner into right field. But Sam Little is going to run that one down for out number 1. A long out number 1. I thought for a second it was going to burn Little, but he's able to catch that one fairly easy. Game number 6 here in the Mideast Regional for 2018. The loser of this contest will go home. The winner will play Wabash College, as Stotler tries to lay a bunt down there, but Hill pounces on it quickly and throws on to first for out number 2. So that'll bring us back to the top of the Cardinal lineup. Shortstop Ben Beachy, 2 for 3 on the day. He singled back in the 4th inning, was later stranded on second. Or excuse me, I screwed up the bracket. The winner of this game will play the loser of tonight's game. As Beachy takes a strike there, 1-1. Tonight's game will be LaRoche, who defeated Ithaca, and Adrian, who came back to bite the Cardinals late in last night's game, as Beachy fouls that one into the glove of Woolner. He's now down in the count, 1-2. Two-strike pitch. It's a slider down in the dirt. Nice block by Woolner. Nobody on, but I'm sure the umpire appreciates that. Count even at 2. The 2-2. Pitch high. Full count now on Beachy. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning, a 3-3 game. Payoff pitch from Hill. Beachy fouls that one back out of play, and we'll do it all over again. Both teams 3 runs, both teams 8 hits. Ithaca has committed 1 error. Payoff pitch again. That ball is going to be grounded to the shortstop, Lynch, who fields it and tosses it over to first. It pulls Bailey off the bag, but he will apply the tag to Beachy. A little bit of a weird play there, but it ends the top of the 6th inning. Otterbein will try to hold Ithaca as we go to the bottom half of the inning. Stay tuned to ACTV as we follow this good, well-played baseball game. Bottom half of the 6th inning here. If you're just joining us, the Otterbein Cardinals and the Ithaca Bombers tied up at 3 runs apiece. Johnny Putnam goes back to work on the rubber today for Otterbein, and he will face Lynch, Woolner, and Baresta. As Lynch hits a long fly ball into right field, but Stopar ranges over and puts it away on the run for out number 1. So that'll bring up the catcher Woolner. 0 for 2 on the day. He flew out to center his last time up. Putnam drops a breaking ball in there. First pitch strike. That fastball popped up in the air, up the middle, and Beachy will settle under it for out number 2. So quick 2 outs here for Otterbein, and that brings it back to the top of the Ithaca lineup. Is the left fielder Baresta. 1 for 3 on the day, or rather 1 for 2. He had a sac bunt back in the 4th inning as he takes a ball low and away. 1-0.
Ithaca has not been set down in order yet this game. The closest they came to that was back in inning number 5. They were down in 5 batters.
Baresta now up in the count, 2-0. Pitch from Putnam. Fires a strike in there, 2-1. Putnam right around 70 pitches entering the game. As Baresta hits that one, and that's going to be a fair ball down the line in left field. He will take the turn, but will be held to a long single. And Ithaca now has a runner aboard with 2 outs. That one just finding fair territory. Otterbein Cardinal third baseman Brett having a little bit of a word, but from up in the press box, that was about 2 balls off the foul line, maybe even 1. It was pretty close. The left fielder Thompson playing it quite nicely. Baresta takes off for a second, but that ball will be fouled back into the screen by the third baseman Fuoti. No balls, 1 strike here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Putnam looks over to first base. Fires a fastball in. 1-1. Resta about 6 steps off the bag, fairly large lead, and he's going to take off for second. That ball put in the air to right field, and a sliding attempt by Stopar, but it's going to find ground as Baresta motors into third. They will hold him there. So a nice sliding attempt out and right by Stopar. Looked like that glove might have hit him in the heel, unable to come up with it. In Ithaca now, runners on the corners here with 2 outs and looking to break things open. That'll bring up the second baseman, Webb Little. 2 for 3 on the day. He singled back in the 3rd and came around to score. That knotted things up at 3.
First Bomber batter to reach third base since the 3rd inning. Putnam has some work to do. 2 outs. Force at first or second.
Definitely not the hitter you want to see at the plate. Both Little twins having a great regional so far. The 0-1 pitch. Low and away, 1-1. That hit by Fuodi gives the Bombers 10 on the afternoon. Putnam delivers the 1-1. Little will foul that one off, out of play on the left side. The count now 1 ball, 2 strikes on the Ithaca 3-hitter. Baresta on third base, Fuodi on first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The score knotted up at 3 apiece. The 1-2. And he's going to put that one in the air to left field, but that ball is going to find its way out of play.
Squared that one up, but just caught too much of the end of the bat. Sliced on the end of that route.
Fuodi off on the swing, which he will be again here. Putnam gets his sign, comes set. Again with the 1-2. Another foul ball off on the left side. As Little putting up a little bit of a battle here. When now blowing straight in from right field. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch. The ground ball fouled off of Little's leg. So he continues to foul off some tough 2-strike pitches. Clouds starting to roll in a little more over Nicolay Field. No weather due anytime soon. That's supposed to start later tonight, hopefully after all of today's games are over with. Putnam again with the 1-2. High for ball 2. Big at bat here for the Bombers. They have not had a lead all day. You're just joining us. 3-3 ball game in game number 6, an elimination game. 2-2. And Little's gonna pop that one in the air to left field. This might find ground, but instead it finds its way into the left fielder's mitt. That's Thompson. So the Bombers will leave men on the corners we've played 6 here at Nicolay Field. Otterbein and Ithaca still knotted up at 3. You're watching Mideast Regional Baseball here on ACTV. Two, 3, 4 due up for Otterbein, who is knotted up at 3 runs with the Ithaca Bombers. See left fielder Thompson steps in. Thompson 3 for 3 on the day. He singled back in the first inning and later scored the first run of the contest. As Hill puts an off-speed pitch in there but leaves it up in the zone. And Thompson's going to hit a liner into left field for another leadoff single for Otterbein. So that'll bring up the right fielder, Brian Stopar. 2 for 3 on the day. He scored the second run of the contest for Otterbein. Struck out his last at-bat as Hill checks on Thompson over at first base.
Well, these Cardinals have a tough schedule. They've had that all year. Didn't win the OAC. They lost to Baldwin Wallace, who is in another region. That just shows you how many tough opponents they have played. Their strength of schedule is ranked 7th nationally. They have gone 13-10 against regionally ranked opponents.
Big reason why they got one of the 16 at-large bids. The 0-1 pitch from Hill is going to be lined into center field, but it hangs up long enough for Carey. He's going to try to double Thompson off of first, but the throw not in time. So a hard hit ball by Stopar, but unfortunately for him, it hangs up long enough for the Ithaca center fielder to come in on.
A nice job by Bailey at first, able to body that ball up, making sure that the base runner Thompson didn't get any extra bases out of that play.
Yeah, Carey going through the cutoff man on that one. As a first baseman, you can't be afraid to get in front of a ball as Hill throws over to check on Thompson again. First baseman Luke Barber up now. 0 for 3 in this contest. Hit a hard hopper down to the third baseman Fuodi, but that resulted in a double play as Hill again checks on Thompson at first. Otterbein a 30-14 record coming into this regional tourney. Can also swing the stick a little bit. A .319 team average as well coming into this Mideast Regional. As that ball misses low and inside. 1-0 now on Barber.
Well, their all-time NCAA tournament record is 21-23. Their best finish was in 2006, where they lost in the regional final. They have a tough battle ahead if they want to get back to where they were in 2006.
That pickoff throw is not handled by Bailey, and Thompson's going to move up to second base on what I imagine would be an error on Bailey, the first baseman. Not really a bad throw by Hill, just looked like he wasn't able to catch it. So we'll see how they score this one as Woolner goes out to talk to his pitcher. Cardinals now have a runner in scoring position with one out here in the top of the 7th.
Ithaca has a man warming up in the bullpen. Hill had to come in early for relief. He's done a good job right now, but starting to find himself in a bit of a trouble.
As that ball put into left field for a base hit. They're going to hold Thompson at third. So Barber, with his first hit of the contest, able to dump it in front of Baresta. Cardinals now have runners on the corner, still only one out. That brings up the third baseman, Connor Brett. He is 0 for 3 on the day. Flew out to the right fielder his last time up. As Hill looks to get another inning-ending double play. His first pitch to Brett misses down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Now 2 men warming up in the pen. Here's the 1-0. Big swing and a miss there by Brett. Evens the count at 1.
Both teams so far today having trouble bringing in runners in scoring position. Really a big reason they find themselves in the elimination bracket. And Otterbein trying to bring in a big run right here, top of the 7th.
Well, Otterbein, 7 men left on base so far today. Ithaca, 9 men left on base. You got to think, Robbie, sooner or later, one of them is going to have to get that big hit. As Brett fouls that one off the mask of Woolner. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and the home plate umpire, Corey Ray, is going to give Woolner a little bit of time. A mutual respect between umpires and catchers, both wearing the tools of what Jim Price, the Tigers color commentator on the radio, calls the tools of intelligence, but what many others consider the tools of ignorance. As Hill looks in and gets his sign. The 2-2. It's going to be put in the air to left field. That's going to hang up for Baresta. We'll see if they want to try to score. Thompson carries the one that settles under it. He's going to make the throw to the plate, and he is out at the plate. Great throw by Carey. Guns down Thompson. And this score will stay knotted at 3. Great defense by the Ithaca Bombers as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Score still 3-3. Don't you touch that mouse, because we are watching one heck of a ball game here on ACTV. 3-3 score heading into the bottom of the 7th inning, thanks to an inning-ending double play, a fly ball off the bat of Brett that the center fielder Carey settled under, and he made a strong one-hop throw to the dish to retire Thompson, who is trying to tag up. As Putnam throws a ball in the turf. 1-1 count now on the cleanup hitter Bailey.
You can't blame Otterbein for pushing the envelope right there. Top of the 7th inning in this elimination game, and you have to push it just when you think it's safe. They thought it was a safe play right there. The arm strength out there by the center fielder. Carey showing just why Coach Valicente put him out there.
Chopper over to third on that play, which Brett grabs on the candy hop for out number 1. And like you said, Robbie, it was going to have to be the perfect play, and it was a one-hop strike. And Woolner didn't even really have to move his mitt. Things could not have worked out better there for Ithaca. As Johnny Putnam's day comes to an end, we'll let this Otterbein mystery man get warmed up here. 3-3 tie in the bottom of the 7th inning. Don't you touch that mouse. Don't you leave your couch, your seat, wherever you're watching this game. You better stay there, because you're watching Mideast Regional Baseball on ACTV. Bottom of the 7th inning, 1 out for the Ithaca Bombers as Otterbein turns to their lefty specialist, Jake Walters. He comes in to face the Bombers' right fielder, Sam Little, who is swinging a hot bat. 3 hits on the contest today, 5 in this regional tournament, and Walters starts him off with a strike there. The lefty came in to face one batter in the contest last night against Adrian. Did his job striking him out. As another pitch by Walters catches the outside part of the plate. Little quickly in a hole now, 0-2. That ball hit on the ground and through the hole on the left side. Walters leaves that 0-2 pitch up. And Sam Little does a nice job of staying on top of it and finding that hole. So the Bombers now a runner on first base with 1 out.
Yeah, jammed him a little bit on the inside. Nice job pulling the knob inside on the part of the ball. Putting it right through that left side hole.
That gives Sam Little 4 hits now on the day. And Walters will stay in to face Carey, who's going to hit a line shot right back up the box into center for a base hit. Little will stay at second base. So runners now at second and first with 1 out. And Robbie, we saw this last night in the Otterbein-Adrian contest. After Stevie Uran went a strong 6 innings, only gave up 3 runs. We saw Otterbein turn to their bullpen, and they did not get the job done in the slightest. Gave up 8 runs, only 3 of those earned, but it was just not a great night, and Walter's day will be done as Otterbein again turns to their bullpen. We will give this new mystery man a chance to warm up, see what he's done, see what he's about, and then come back to see if he can get out of this jam. You're watching NCAA baseball here on ACTV. We return to the bottom of the 7th inning here in Game 6. As we saw the starter Johnny Putnam get the first out, they brought in lefty specialist Jake Walters, who had Sam Little down in an 0-2 count, ended up giving a base hit to the right fielder. Stayed in to face Carey, who singled right back up the box. So that brings us now to John Kopicki to face Gallagher as he fouls that first pitch out of play. And Robbie, what can you tell us about Kopicki's season so far?
Well, he's a senior out of Centerville, Ohio, has 12 appearances, 3 of them are starts, a 1-2 record, 34 innings pitched, 30 strikeouts to 8 walks, has a 6.62 ERA. But at the same time, holding batters to a .297 batting average.
He's got a 1-1 count here on Gallagher. Bender stays high. 2-1 now. Otterbein 3 runs on 10 hits. Ithaca 3 runs on 10 hits, has also committed 2 errors, but they are poised to take the lead here. Gallagher fouls that one straight back to even things up at 2. Otterbein scored early, putting 2 runs on the board in the first inning, 1 in the second. Ithaca answered with 2 in the second, then scored 1 in the third, and that's where we are now. The 2-2 will instead be a bluff over to second base, but Little not going anywhere. Little on second, Carey on first. That 2-2 pitch rides up and in, so it's a full count now on the designated hitter Gallagher, who is hitless so far in this regional.
I hate to report this, Cody, but I just felt a couple of raindrops on my arm, so it looks like that weather might be moving in sooner rather than later.
Gallagher puts that one up in the air to shallow right field. Stopar coming in, but it will be Stotler who puts it away. So a big second out now for the Cardinals as they face the 8-hitter now, the shortstop Jack Lynch. And Robbie, I thought I saw some raindrops, but I didn't want to say anything because Well, I'm just not a big fan of the rain, especially today.
Yeah, the forecast said it wasn't supposed to move in until about 9 o'clock, but it looks like we might get some showers here early. Not sure if that's the actual cell moving in or if it's just a couple of pop-ups.
Well, nothing heavy at all right now, just a couple sprinkles here and there. Hopefully the weather will hold off as Lynch swings through that first pitch. Here's the 0-1. He's going to foul that one down the left field side of the diamond. So Kopicki now has Lynch in an 0-2 hole. Runners on first and second here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 3-3 tie, between Otterbein and Ithaca. And Kopicki delivers a 2-strike pitch that is high and outside. Count now 1-2.
Both these teams running out of outs right now. It's very likely that the next run scored will be the deciding.
And that pitch close, but just unable to catch the inside black. As we now hear grumbles from the Otterbein side of the diamond. 2-2 count now on Lynch. Lynch 2 hits on the day so far, looking for his third. Here's the pitch, and that curveball is gonna freeze him for out number 3.
Yeah, Lynch got away with looking at that one call the ball, but can't get lucky 2 times in a row.
So the Bombers put men on first and second, but again, unable to score them. That is now 11 runners left on base for Ithaca. So we head to the 8th inning now, still tied at 3 apiece. We are watching NCAA regional baseball here on ACTV. Jack Morello now on the bump for Ithaca, taking the place of Tyler Hill, who did an excellent job out of the pen, keeping this score knotted at 3. It'll be the catcher Feltner up to the dish, and he takes that first pitch in the turf for ball 1. Robbie, what can you tell us about Morello's season?
He has 15 appearances, 9 of them are starts, so he's one of their aces. 4-3 record with a 3.55 ERA, 58.1 innings pitched. Has 50 strikeouts, 26 walks. He's given up 33 runs. Only 23 of them have been earned and is holding opponents to a 240 clip.
He's delivered 3 straight balls here, none of them close. He has a 3-0 count on the catcher Justin Feltner. That ball again misses badly inside. A 4-pitch walk to start his outing. And Otterbein will send their center fielder Snyder up to the dish as Woolner goes to talk to his pitcher. Definitely not the start that he wanted to have. As we said, Hill, an excellent job out of the bullpen, keeping things at 3 runs. He ended up going 5 1/3 innings, only gave up 5 hits, no runs, 1 strikeout, and no walks. As Snyder pops that bunt attempt up and out of play. 0-1 now on the Cardinals center fielder.
Lucky right there. We've seen some great bunts this tournament, but at the same time, a lot of batters are dropping that bat, not really giving with the knees. As a result, we've seen a lot of pop-ups. Snyder got lucky that that one went further than it could have.
He gets that one down on the ground, but fouls it towards his own bench. 0-2 now. And yes, Robbie, like you said, a lot of bunts we've seen in the air. Luckily for these batters, though, not a lot of these pop-ups have been in the infield. Most of them fouled back or too far foul for a fielder to make a play.
Well, the art of bunting seems to be a very underrated skill, especially in high school. All they want to do is swing away to live pitching in the batter's box. At practice, don't want to do a lot of tee work. And especially if you ask them to lay down a bunt, they are not happy about it. But once you get to the college level, it is almost essential that you have that skill.
Snyder swings away there, swings through a 3rd strike. So there is now 1 out. The second baseman, the designated hitter Beer up to the dish, and he takes the ball way inside, starts his count off 1-0. You know, a lot of these analysts and these sabermetric guys, Robbie, are all against the bunt. They're not big on giving up outs just to move a runner over. I guess the numbers say that sacrifice bunts don't mean much, but it's a big discussion between sabermetric guys and traditionalists.
And I can see both sides of the argument. I can see bunting with 1 out, bunting into a 2nd out. I don't necessarily agree with that. Again, that's just one man's opinion, but then again, you at least have to make something happen. Not to call Snyder out, but if you miss 2 bunts attempts and then can't get it into play, it kind of doesn't work out on either end.
Feltner was off on the pitch there on what looked like a hit and run attempt, but Beer fouls it off. And he is now in the hole 1-2.
The overall goal comes down to manufacturing runs, and if that comes by the bunt, and that just so happens to be it. Some teams live and die by it, others don't do it at all. I guess it really depends on the makeup of your ball club and what type of players you have.
That ball sails outside, 2-2. You and I, Robbie, have called several Adrian games. Of course, Adrian is our alma mater, and we know that Coach Craig Rainey likes to put down the bunts. His catcher, Frank Resto, has 10 on the year.
Actually holds the Adrian College record for career sacrifice bunts. They don't have a lot of stolen bases, but when they get a man in scoring position, they're able to get him over.
Well, meanwhile, both Otterbein and Ithaca having trouble getting runners over and getting them in. They have left a combined 19 men on base. As Beer swings through that off-speed pitch for strike 3. And Ithaca now 1 out away from sending this thing to the bottom half of the inning.
Well, after issuing a quick walk to the leadoff man, Morello has suddenly found the strike zone. 2 in a row, sat down via the K.
First pitch, a ball outside, 1-0. Second baseman Stotler 0 for 3 on the day. He grounded out to the pitcher his last time up. That ball again misses outside, 2-0. Feltner about 3 steps off the bag, but Morello doesn't want to take any chances. He gives him a look and a throw. The 2-0 finds its way over the plate. 2-1. A lot of birds flying out above the press box. It kind of looks like eagles, you know, on a special game for these sporting events. They let the bald eagles fly. I keep thinking I see an eagle, but it's just a little sparrow as Stotler fouls that one out of play to even things up at 2.
You do remember we're in Adrian, Michigan, right? Not a lot of eagles down here.
Yeah, but I remember last summer, me and Robbie from the Flint area, and remember Mom saw a bald eagle?
It's also an hour and a half north from here.
As Stotler sees a changeup there that drops right off the table, and he swings through it for out number 3. So we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and you guessed it, things still knotted up at 3 apiece. We'll see if Ithaca can finally push across a run to break the tie here on ACTV. Bottom of the 8th inning, Ithaca looks to finally get on top of Otterbein. As the pitcher John Kapicki goes back to work. He came in the last inning with 2 men on and 1 man out. Ended up getting a pop out and a strikeout to leave things at 3. He will now face the 9-1-2 hitter, starting with the backstop Woolner, who swings through that off-speed pitch. It is now 0-2. Woolner 0 for 3 on the day, 2 pop-outs and a flyout. And he goes fishing, but there's no bass in the pond to be had. Out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Second straight strikeout for John Kapicki.
So nice off speed, starts it off at the outer part of the plate. That one nowhere close to the plate by the time it got into Feltner's glove, but Woolner had already started his swing, and now Kapicki starts off the leadoff hitter Baresta with a strike. And that curveball hit to the right side of the infield. Stotler over, and he'll throw on to first for out number 2. Not the hardest hit ball. Stotler had to come in and make a play, and he did. So that brings up the third baseman, Fuoti. One for 2 on the day. He takes a first pitch strike down the middle. 0-1. One and one now on Fuoti. Well, after this game, you can check out La Roche versus Worcester College, or the College of Worcester, I should say.
I believe you mean Shenandoah versus Worcester.
I don't know why I have LaRoche on the brain so much, but
it was a late night last night. We called all 4 games here until about 11:30, so we'll have to excuse my friend over here.
That one popped out of play. Let me correct myself. I'll just start over. After this game, you can check out Shenandoah versus Worcester. And the nightcap for day 2 will be LaRoche versus Adrian. But before that, we'll have to see who breaks first. 3-3 tie here in the bottom of the 8th inning. A 1-2 count on Fuodi with 2 outs.
Beginning of the game looked like it would be high scoring. Otterbein came out, scored 3 quick within the first 2. Ithaca would answer with 2 in the second, tie it up in the third. And since then, a lot of base runners, but not any runs scored.
The 2-2. Put in the air to center field, right center that is. And it hangs up long enough for Stopar to settle under it on the run. 1, 2, 3 go the Bombers. We head to the final scheduled inning of this game, and we will see if one of these teams can send it home at the scheduled time. 3-3 Otterbein and Ithaca. You are watching NCAA Regional Tournament Baseball here on ACTV. Ninth inning here for Otterbein and Ithaca. Still knotted up at 3, but Otterbein sending the top of their order up to the dish, and Ben Beachy as he takes a fastball up and in for ball 1. Beachy 2 for 4 on the day. He doubled and scored back in the second. He puts that ball in the air on the right side of the diamond, but it's going to find its way out of play.
Well, both teams had to make quite the trip to get up to Adrian, Michigan. Otterbein located in Westerville, Ohio, just under 3 hours to get here. But of course, that does not compare to Ithaca's haul, 7.5 hours from Adrian College.
That would have been a terrible bus ride.
I'm sure they'd love to put it off here with a win to stay in the tournament.
And I'm pretty sure all of these teams bust in. No quick airplanes into Adrian.
Now the Shenandoah SID flew in. He refused to ride the bus, and with good reason, because located in Winchester, Virginia, that is also quite the haul. I do not blame him at all.
That ball blocked by Woolner. Full count now on Beachy. And the shortstop will step out, take a quick breath, and settle back in. Payoff pitch. Big swing and a miss that puts Beachy on his knee. And it is out number 1 of the top of the 9th. This is the 4th straight strikeout for Morello. Issued a walk back in the 8th inning to start things off. Came back to strike out the side. And he'll start Thompson off with the strike here.
Tall task for Morello. Thompson 4 for 4 on the day so far.
And that ball comes up and in and grazes Thompson. Luckily, that one didn't get him anywhere on the head. That one got him on the shoulder, but nonetheless, Otterbein now has a runner on first with only one out. That'll bring up the right fielder, Brian Stopar, looking to get this runner at least to second base, if not all the way home, and he'll take a fastball in for ball one. Like I said, Morello, first batter he faced, it was a walk. It was actually a 4-pitch walk. Came back to strike out 4 straight batters, all swinging, and now looking like he did in his initial at-bat, missing the zone. Some of these pitches not quite close as Thompson puts that ball, Stopar puts that ball in the air to right field. And Sam Little will settle under it for out number 2. So that'll bring up the big first baseman, Luke Barber. With 2 outs now in the top of the 9th, and he'll take a first pitch strike on the outer part of the plate.
Barber 1 for 4 on the afternoon, but that one hit came in his last at bat back in inning number 7.
And Thompson was off on the pitch, and he'll slide safely into second base with a stolen base. A big swipe there for the Otterbein left fielder. And they now have a man in scoring position with 2 outs here in the 9th. Now Woolner will go out to have a mound visit with his pitcher, possibly going through signs with the runner on second. Starting to get a little tongue-tied here in the 9th inning. Zeros on the board for both teams since the 4th. Morello bluffs to second, but nobody covering.
Yeah, 10 hits so far for the Cardinals, 12 for the Bombers.
He lines that one out of play on the right side, 0-2.
The story of the game, probably I would say, has been leaving runners on base.
As we look quickly at the live stats, Otterbein so far 9. If they cannot get Thompson in, it'll be 10. That ball up and in, they'll check down at first base. But Barber held his swing, 1-2. If you think the 9 left on base for Otterbein is bad, the Bombers have left 11 on base so far. And Thompson on the move for third, a big swing and a miss, but actually it was not a miss. He got a piece of that one. Looks like it might have caught a piece of Woolner's hand. Thompson tried to take third. Woolner got up and out to try to make the throw. Might have had his hand in the way on that foul ball.
And a tough day for Andrew Woolner. Already take a foul ball off the mask, now foul ball off the hand.
So again with the 1-2 count as Morello looks to second and delivers. And that pitch just misses high, evens things up at 2.
Morello thought he had strike 3 there. Danced off the mound, but called back by the home plate umpire, Corey Ray.
All 4 infielders playing deep. Morello will step off. Outfielders playing about a step in from their normal positions. And this time, Barber will be the one to step out. Morello comes set. And he will bluff again to second base. Little game of cat and mouse now occurring between Thompson and Morello. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Thompson off on the pitch. And Barber swings through that fastball. Make it 5 strikeouts now for Morello, and a big one there as it sends Ithaca to the bottom of the 9th inning, still knotted up with the Cardinals at 3 runs apiece. So we will see if Ithaca can end this thing on time, or if we will have our first extra inning game of this regional tournament. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned right here to ACTV. Heart of the order due up for Ithaca here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Starting with the second baseman, Webb Little, 2 for 4 on the day. And he'll swing at that first pitch, but send it out of play on the left side.
Steady drizzle starting to fall now at Nicolay Field.
Skopicky comes set. That ball on the outside part of the plate. Little can't hold his swing, and he is quickly in the hole now, 0-2. Well, all of the scoring in this contest came within the first 3 innings. And since then, it has been nothing but zeros. There's a nice little fighting swing there by Little to stay alive, 0-2. And Robbie, it's not as if they haven't had their opportunities to score. Otterbein even sent a runner home, but a strong throw by the Ithaca center fielder got him as that slow roller to the second baseman, Stotler, is gobbled up and thrown onto Barber. And Webb Little is out, the first one of the inning. You heard it right there, PA announcer Dave Van Giesen. It is the first baseman, Andrew Bailey, looking to get things started with 1 out here in the 9th. 10 men left on base for Otterbein, 11 left on base for the Bombers. And that is a hot shot chopper down the left field line, but foul. 3 runs, 10 hits for Otterbein, 3 runs on 12 hits for Ithaca. Ithaca has also made 2 errors in this game. Skopicky comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Curveball that can't quite find the strike zone, 2-1.
Well, Coach Valicente said it yesterday in the presser. The Bombers need to eliminate errors and get more men on that are on base. They've cut down on the errors, but the men on base is still giving them trouble.
Yes, Bailey gives that one a ride, but it finds its way into the glove of Snyder for out number 2. So Sam Little will come up trying to get a 2-out rally going. He is 4 for 4 on the contest today, has also scored a run. And he hits a line drive into the right field gap, and it'll get down and roll all the way to the wall. Little is going to motor. He's going to try for 3. The throw in is going to be held by Beachy. And Sam Little continues his tournament dominance, a huge 2-out triple. And the winning run now 90 feet away.
That was his fifth hit of the ball game, and he was not cheated on it. Pulled the hands through, takes it right into that right center gap. And now it's the center fielder, Matt Carey, with a chance to be the hero in game number 6.
As Coach George Powell calls time. Little just ambushed that first pitch fastball that hung in the middle of the plate. Finally see one find the gap, especially against this Otterbein outfield who can cover so much ground. But Ithaca poised to finally end this thing. Coach Powell in his 19th season at the helm of the Cardinal baseball program. He's amassed an overall and school record of 480 wins to 332 victories. If you're just joining us, 3-3 tie here in the bottom of the 9th inning, but a huge 2-out triple by the Ithaca right fielder, Sam Little. He's now 90 feet away from ending this game and sending Otterbein home for the 2018 season.
Well, it's the center fielder, Matt Carey. 2 walks, a strikeout today. He also singled back in the 7th inning. He's got a prime RBI opportunity right here.
First pitch down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. The first baseman for Otterbein, Barber, playing fairly deep. You think they try to push one down the line? Swinging there, fouls it out of play, evens things up at 1.
I guess that answers your question right there.
I mean, still 1 strike. I would love to see a squeeze play here.
The only thing is we've had both teams bunting troubles this afternoon, so if you're going to put one down right here, it would have to be in extreme confidence.
Well, Carey takes that curveball on the inner part of the plate. He is now down 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the 9th, winning run on 3rd. Here's the pitch from Kopicki. A chopper to the shortstop, Beachy, who fields it on a hop and fires across the diamond. And we will go for the first time in this Mideast Regional to extra innings. Otterbein and Ithaca knotted up at 3 apiece. And we head to the 10th inning here on ACTV. Free baseball here for the first time in this 2018 Mideast Regional, as Otterbein and Ithaca could not determine a winner in this elimination game in the standard 9 innings. As that first pitch strike from Morello will find its way outside. So first pitch ball rather. That ball again outside, 2-0.
Well, we both ran out of room on our scoring sheets, so a little creative engineering. As Cody had to move to the back of his score sheet. I took the more creative route and just drew extra boxes on the side of my page.
3-0 now on the 3rd baseman, Brett. And this is what I was afraid of, Robbie. Ball 4. Not that I was afraid of that, as Brett is on with the leadoff walk, but I have a store-bought book, fairly cheap, but it only has 9 innings and no room to add anything. It is the first time I have had to make do with what I have, so I am onto a new score sheet and just extending it as Feltner goes to the dish and he squares to bunt. He will get the job done. Morello throws him out at first, but Brett moves up to second. And Otterbein now has a runner in scoring position with one out here in the 10th inning.
Morello, a little bit of trouble getting that out of the glove. Thought for a second it might be 2 men on with nobody out.
As Volner goes and talks to his pitcher. And the Cardinals will send a pinch hitter to the, not a pinch hitter on deck now. But before that, we will see the center fielder, Snyder, who is 0 for 3 in this game, was hit by a pitch all the way back in the first inning. And he rolls that one foul down the third base line. Dimitri Collaris on deck in place of the designated hitter Beer. Morello throws one in there that's popped up and out of play on the right side. 0-2 now on Snyder. Well, Ithaca got a 2-out triple from their right fielder Sam Little in the bottom of the 9th inning, but couldn't get him in. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Snyder gets a piece of that one and fouls it straight back into the screen. Brett about 5 to 6 steps off the bag at second base. The 0-2 is going to be put in the air to center field. Carey takes a couple steps back and puts it away for out number 2. So up now to the plate in place of the designated hitter Beer is number 15, Dimitri Collaris, who we have not seen yet in this regional tournament.
Collaris, a .220 batting average on the year so far, 59 at-bats. He has 13 hits, 2 of them for double, 6 RBIs, and has scored 11 runs.
Well, looking to make that RBI total 7 here, as he'll take a first pitch outside for ball 1. Collaris can keep this inning going. It is the second baseman, Stotler, on deck. It's a 2-0 pitch from Morello. That one finds the outer black for strike 1. 3 hits on 10 runs for Otterbein. 3 runs on 10 hits. The Bombers have 3 runs on 13 hits. Scalero puts that one in the air on the left side. Foresta gives chase, but it finds its way out of play. So Morello fell behind 2-0 to Collaris and has battled back to an even count. The 2-2. He's going to ground that one up the middle, but Lynch is there to field it and throw on to first for out number 3. So Otterbein gets their leadoff man aboard, moves him over to second, but cannot drive him in, as both teams still struggle to drive men in. We will now go to the bottom of the 10th inning here, still knotted up at 3. You think Ithaca can end it right now? We'll find out here on ACTV. Kapicki back on the mound for Otterbein, but Ithaca will send a pinch hitter up in place of their designated hitter. And it'll be number 24, Garrett Callahan, who hits a hard line shot, but Beachy a couple steps to his backhand retires him. So Callahan does what he's supposed to as a pinch hitter, attacks the first pitch fastball, but Beachy right there. Just a little bit of bad luck for the Bombers. So that'll bring up the shortstop, Jack Lynch, who is 2 for 4 on the day, but struck out looking back in the 7th. And he takes that fastball down and in. 2-0 now on Lynch. Pitch from Kapicki. Outside, 3-0. Big hole up the middle with the second baseman Stotler shaded to his left. But it will be a base on balls to Lynch instead. The Bombers have a runner on first with 1 out. Feltner will go talk to his pitcher. Kapicki, 40 pitches now on the afternoon. He came in back in the 7th inning. And the 9-hitter Woolner squares to bunt, but he pulls back for ball 1.
Woolner 0 for 4 on the afternoon so far.
Pickoff move by Kapicki, but nothing doing by Lynch. Well, we've continued to talk about it all game. Zeros on the board since the 4th, but both teams having several chances to change that. Otterbein, 11 men left on base up to this point. Ithaca has left 12 on base. As again, Woolner squares and pulls back. And Kapicki suddenly having trouble finding the strike zone. That's 7 straight out of the zone. Lynch a modest lead off of first. Here's the 3-0. Woolner takes all the way, 3-1. Well, if Woolner stays out of the double play, that'll send it back to the top of the Bombers lineup as he squares again, bunts this one right back to the mound, but he will not have a play at second. Instead, he retires Woolner at first. Lynch will move up to second. And the Bombers now need a 2-out hit to score this run.
Interesting move by Coach Valicente to bunt into the second out of the inning, but he must have confidence heading back to the top of the order.
And Baresta, 2 for 5 on the day, a double and a single. He had an RBI back in the 2nd inning. And with 2 outs here, and Lynch's speed over on second base, a base hit to the outfield should do it, but instead they will give Baresta the free pass to set up a force at 3 of the 4 bases.
But unlike the MLB, they have to throw all 4 pitches. And as you can see right there, they can get away from him to the backstop. Man, winning run is now 90 feet away.
You called that one, Robbie. Kapicki just lobs that one in there. Just over the head of Feltner. And this is something that gives a lot of pitchers trouble. Although the MLB took it out of the game for pace of play reasons, This is not something that a pitcher practices.
No, they're used to just firing fastballs and curveballs in there. Now when you're asked to just throw a nice easy pitch into the mitt at a subtle speed, it only becomes unnerving.
So Lynch 90 feet away. As that one almost short, Feltner had to come up and get it. 3-0 on the intentional pass.
It looks like Kopicki's kind of unsure on how hard to throw it.
That one almost found the strike zone, but too high.
You want to make sure you hit a nice firm in the chest. He's taking a little too much off of his throws. That's usually when pitchers get into the trouble, is when they think they only have to toss it in there. They can still have a nice hard throw into the catcher's mitt.
Just like playing catch with your partner before games in the outfield. That's really what it should be. But the Bombers now runners on the corner with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 10th inning. 3-3 tie. Winner moves on to play the loser of tonight's game. Or the winner plays the loser of the Shenandoah Wooster game. Loser goes home. I'll get that bracket squared away soon enough. Maybe I'll just leave that to my color man Robbie, but 1-0 now on Fuodi, who didn't start the game. He came in for Generali back in the 4th. And that ball in the dirt, a nice pick by Feltner. And Baresta moves up to second uncontested, so runners now on second and third, still 2 out. The 2-0. That one finds the plate, 2-1. That ball fouled out of play, count even at 2. Picky looking to get out of this jam. Lynch on third, Baresta on second. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Fuodi, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And he'll foul that one off. A tough curveball on the outer part of the plate that he was able to get a piece of. Three tie here in the bottom of the 10th. In game 6 of this 2018 Mideast Regional. 2-2. It's going to be hit on the ground to the second baseman, Stotler, who throws on to first. And the Cardinals get out of a huge 10th inning jam and send it to the 11th. 3-3 tie here in game number 6. Don't change that channel. Don't do anything but stay and wait for the top of the 11th. And make sure you stay tuned all week here to ACTV. Top of the 11th here in game 6 of the 2018 Mideast Regional between Otterbein and Ithaca. As Morello goes back to work with a first pitch ball to the 9-hitter Stotler. He's going to line that one down the line in right field for a base hit and more. Stotler going to second. and he's on the way to third. The throw will not be in time, and Stotler has a leadoff triple here in the top of the 11th. Jumps all over that 1-0 pitch and just distributes it in the right field corner. And put his head down, motored all the way into third. So Otterbein now with a runner on third with no outs and primed to take a 4-3 lead here in the 11th inning. As Coach Valicente goes to the mound, we'll see if he wants to stay with Morello. He's been out there for a while. Has not motioned yet to the pen. It looks like he will stay with Morello here. But he has a tough jam to work out of runner 90 feet away from scoring the go-ahead run for Otterbein. And what's worse for Ithaca is that they now have to face the top of the Cardinals lineup, starting with all OAC first teamer and OAC player of the year, Ben Beachy. And Robbie, after the 10th inning, had to take a quick breather. He couldn't believe what he saw, now coming back into it. And Robbie, you just missed a leadoff triple in the right field corner by Stotler.
Now I was down just seeing what they had at the concession stand. I heard a big cheer and I thought, well, maybe there was a bald eagle here after all. But I guess I was wrong on that assumption.
Morello throws a ball, falls on his chest on that pitch. As we've said, it is a little slick out here with the rain.
Home plate umpire Corey Ray going to call a mound visit. They might suspend this one for a little bit. Well, the rain is starting to pick up here as we're due a great deal of precipitation throughout the night. It wasn't supposed to come until 9 though, so
maybe just a little pop-up cell, but looking now at the radar that is being provided by Darien Pitcher, it looks like we might be getting a little bit of rain through 6 o'clock. After seeing Morello slip on that delivery, you definitely don't want to see anybody get hurt out here.
Remember, still 2 games on the slate today. Up after this one, it's the winners bracket, Shenandoah versus Worcester. And in the nightcap, LaRoche versus Adrian.
Well, looking at the radar, there is a fairly large cell just south of us that we're unfortunately catching the top of right now, so we'll have to see how it continues to move eastward.
Coach Valicente now wants to take a quick moment, check on his pitcher's wrist, or at least get different shoes. Looks like we'll have a rare occasion, either getting turf shoes or cleats on the mound. At the Adrian Film Festival, 2 films were scheduled to go outside tonight at about 2 o'clock. They decided to pull those films inside due to the forecast, so both huge events in town this weekend being affected by the weather now.
Well, hopefully this doesn't cause any delays. This game itself has moved. It is now 4:15, Game 7 between Shenandoah and Worcester, scheduled for 4:30, so that game almost certainly to be pushed back.
When you think of that, the Adrian LaRoche game scheduled for 7:45, so this game already going late. Depending on when the Shenandoah game starts, and when the LaRoche Adrian game starts, we might be here past our 11:30 that we were last night. And I know last night everybody was dog tired when they got back to their rooms. Still a full slate of games tomorrow. We may have some people showing up with swollen eyes and tired tongues.
But no complaints here. We have seen nothing but great baseball, and tight contest between all 8 teams. As Morello gets back on the mound, fires a few warm-up pitches, and he will now face Ben Beachy with no outs. The second baseman Stotler 90 feet away from scoring this go-ahead run.
Now, all 8 teams in this regional have proven why they deserve to be in it. And no matter who moves on to the World Series and the 7 teams that go home, nobody needs to hang their head because they have put together quite the season.
And BG blooped that one in the air to left field, and it's going to find ground and score. Stotler for the go-ahead run. Otterbein now leads 4-3 here in the top of the 11th.
I passed the Otterbein SID director on the way to the concession stands. He said, well, we have the top of the order coming up, so don't count us out yet. And it looks like he has just proven his worth in predictions.
As Thompson pops up that bunt attempt, another pop-up bunt attempt that we've seen. Fuodi almost able to make a play on that one, but just out of the reach of his glove. And that hit by Beachy, not necessarily the hardest hit, but able just to plunk it over Lynch's head at short. And that time Thompson gets it down, but right back to Morello, and he's going to get the force at second. Ooh. And a nice stretch over there by Bailey. He stays on the bag, and what was supposed to be a sacrifice bunt turns into a double play.
Yeah, you want to put it down the first and third base line, not directly towards the pitcher. We've seen quite a few people get away with that. But Morello, great awareness and almost a picture-perfect turn right there.
As Brian Stopar fouls that one backing out of play. 0-1. And a huge play there for the Bombers as they are only 1 run down. Could have very easily had a runner on second with only 1 out. Now bases clear with 2. Here's the 0-2. Another foul ball out of play. Well, it started with the Stotler triple to lead off the top of this inning. That one deposited in the right field corner. And then the little bloop hit by Beachy. As Stopar again puts that one in the air on the left side. And Fuodi is going to camp under it and put it away, but not before Otterbein pushes across the go-ahead run. They now head to the bottom of the 11th inning with a 4-3 lead. And we will see if the Cardinals can finally close this one out. Stay tuned to see if we will go on to more extras or if Otterbein will see to live another day right here on ACTV. Last call for the Ithaca Bombers in the bottom of the 11th inning. Otterbein able to push across a run in the top half of the 11th. A leadoff triple by Stotler and a little bloop single by Beachy with the infield pulled in. The Cardinals now 3 outs away from moving on. Bombers 3 outs away from going home. Kopicki still on the mound for the Cardinals, and that ball through the right side. And the 3-hitter Webb Little starts it off with a single.
Cannot say enough about either of these teams. gutsy performance by both sides. And just like Otterbein, the Bombers not going down without a fight.
Well, Kopicki now around 60 pitches. They have an all-league closer in the bullpen, but he struggled last night, so the Otterbein coach possibly a little hesitant to go there. As the cleanup hitter, Bailey squares but pulls back, but it is still called a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, that's their closer, number 23, Colin Moneymaker Hoffman, what he's known as. They brought him in for the 6-out save. Instead, he blew it, gave up the lead, and that led to a spiral effect in which the Cardinals gave up 8 runs in the last 2 innings of the game.
And Bailey attempts to bunt at a pitch over his head, ducks under it, but doesn't pull back. He's now in the hole, 2 strikes, and he'll swing through that one for strike 3. Not a great at-bat by the Ithaca cleanup hitter. But now they will send up their hot-hitting right fielder, Sam Little, looking to send in his brother and tie things up. Sam 5 for 5 in this contest. And he'll take that first pitch and ground it foul on the right side. Certainly the man that the Bombers want at the plate right now. He's got 7 hits in this tournament.
Not only 7 hits, 5 of them in this game.
He'll take that ball up and out. Evens things up at 1.
Including a triple back in the 9th inning. He'd be stranded there 1 out later.
Kopicki checks Webb over at first. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 11th. And Little takes that ball down and away for the 2nd strike. 1-2 now on Little. Kopicki sets. The 1-2 is popped in the air on the left side. Beachy a couple steps over, and he'll camp under it and put it away for out number 2. So the Bombers down to their final out. And they will send up their center fielder, Matt Carey. Carey 1 for 3 on the contest. And he'll take that pitch down and away, but catches the plate for strike 1.
Kopicki, a little bit of a fashion slide on the end. So we said that mound's starting to get pretty slick out there.
Well, the mound here at Nicolay Field, not a dirt mound. It's actually a 4-piece fiberglass mound covered in turf, so it can get a little slick. As Carey fouls that one out of play, and Ithaca down to their final strike. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Otterbein a 4-3 lead here in the bottom of the 11th of the elimination game. And here's the pitch. That ball is going to be through the 5-hole of Feltner. And Webb Little moves into second, tying run now in scoring position. Will be scored, most likely a wild pitch. As Kopicki looked like it was a breaking ball that he just snapped in the dirt over in the left-hander's batter's box. The count still 1-2 on Carey. Base hit could tie things. The pitch. It's going to be a chopper up the middle and through, a base hit. Webb is going to come around third and he's going to score. Ithaca down to their final strike, and their center fielder hits a slow chopper up the middle. And in the bottom of the 11th, we are once again knotted up.
Unbelievable.
Two-strike pitch that he's able to just put right back up the box. And he's now off for second. The throw is not in time. So Carey steals second. And the hitter Garrett Callahan is one hit away from extending Ithaca's season.
Gutsy move there by Carey. Malicente, a couple of those calls today, but he's not a Hall of Fame ballot coach for nothing. He wants these Bombers to push the envelope. What other way to send this elimination game home?
Ball is strike on the outer part of the plate. No balls, 2 strikes to Callahan. And Feltner will go out to talk to Kopicki.
Enough cannot be said. Both of these teams have not been doing too much with the ball. We've seen a couple of big swings, but when the time calls for it, just squaring up the ball, trying to find those holes. They have been doing just that here in the 11th inning.
Callahan gets a piece of that 0-2 pitch to stay alive. Otterbein 4 runs on 12 hits. Ithaca now 4 runs on 15 hits. And their 16th might end this ball game. The 0-2. Down and away, 1-2. Carey, the big tying single up the middle. He stole second. He represents the winning run. The 1-2. It's going to be a hard ground ball, but Stotler over, and he'll fire to first. We head to the 12th inning in what has been a terrific game. The second elimination game of day 2. And Robbie, would you expect anything else?
I really would not, especially after seeing these teams play in their first games yesterday. You knew they weren't going to bow out of this tournament without a fight. I don't think I quite expected it to go to these lengths, but I am enjoying every minute of it.
So Otterbein will look to push another run across, but as for now, 4-4 tie here in Game 6. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching NCAA Regional Baseball here on ACTV. Top of the 11th inning as Ithaca, down to their final strike, gets a base hit from their center fielder Carey, and we find ourselves knotted up at 4 as the Cardinals send their cleanup hitter to the plate to start things off in Barber. He takes a ball there, count 1-1. That pitch down and away, and Morello again slips on that offering. Excuse me, top of the 12th. Been so long of a game, can't even keep my innings straight. 2-1 now on Barber, and he fouls that one out of play on the right side. Murillo now 5 innings of work. He's got 5 strikeouts and 2 walks. He wipes off his turf shoes now. Still a steady drizzle here falling on the field. There's a 2-2 outside, and it looks like Morello once again slipped on that delivery.
The rain has let up just a little bit, but it's going to take a couple minutes for that field to dry off.
A hard line drive foul out of play on the right side as Barber stays alive.
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, well, if you're just joining us, this is not game number 7. It is still game number 6. So we find ourselves in the 12th inning.
And Barber swings through that payoff pitch and strikes out for out number 1. That'll bring up the third baseman, number 5, Connor Brett. He fouls that one off on the right side to start his at-bat. Brett 0 for 4 on the day. Morello 67 pitches. Here's his 68th. That one outside. And again, it looks like the Ithaca pitcher slipped on his delivery.
Well, he changed his shoes back in the 11th, but apparently not doing enough.
That ball fouled off of Brett's shin.
Does not seem to be affecting his pitching at all, though, as he continues to fire strikes.
Count 1-2 now on Brett. The pitch from Morello. Swings through that high cheese, but the trap snaps shut for out number 2.
That's Morello's 7th strikeout of the ball game.
So the Cardinals will send their backstop up to the plate. That's Justin Feltner looking to get things started. He's 0 for 2 on the day. And he'll get started with a strike down and away. Well, the Cardinals able to push across a run in the top of the 11th. Unable to hold the lead as Feltner hits a line drive into center field, but it hangs up long enough for Carey to get under it. So 1, 2, 3 go the Cardinals. We head to the bottom of the 12th inning. We'll see if Ithaca can finally end this thing. You're watching NCAA Mideast Regional Baseball here on ACTV. We go to the bottom of the 12th here in Game 6 of the 2018 Mideast Regional. And if you're just joining us, well, you've missed out on quite a lot. 3-3 tie going into the 11th. Otterbein able to push across a run. But then Ithaca down to their last strike. Got a 2-out single from their center fielder. And that's where we stand at 4 apiece as Lynch puts that one in the air to left. Thompson turned around but comes back, camps under it, and puts it away for out number 1. So that'll bring up the Ithaca backstop, Andrew Woolner. Wallner 0 for 4 on the day. He has struck out once.
If you're looking for the definition of tit for tat baseball, you'll see it right here. Every time Otterbein scores a run, the Bombers come right back that following half inning and score a run themselves.
That pitch up and into Wallner, 2-0. Well, Otterbein got off to a quick start, scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second. Ithaca came back to put 2 of their own across in the second, scored 1 in the third. Like I said, that's where we stood until the 11th, where both teams managed to push across exactly 1 run. Otterbein so far 4 runs on 12 hits. Ithaca 4 runs on 15 hits. Both teams have had several chances to push the winning run across, but haven't been able to. The Cardinals 11 men left on base so far. Meanwhile, the Bombers have left 15 on base. As Wallner takes that 3-1 pitch on the inside part of the plate to bring the count full, 3-2. The payoff pitch fouled off on the right side. Well, both teams have to be happy with their bullpens, as John Kopicki now pitching his 6th inning. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jack Morello has thrown 5 strong. Before him, Tyler Hill, a strong 5 1/3. That 3-2 pitch stays high. So a 1-out walk now, and that'll bring it back to the top of the Ithaca lineup as center fielder Dominic Baresta comes to the plate.
An updated weather forecast, not to jinx anything, but that cell we were talking about looks like it's drifting upwards as the rain's starting to pick up again here at Nicolay Field.
Baresta squares to bunt. That one comes in on him. Was able to pull back in time, so runners now on second and first with still only 1 out. That'll bring up the third baseman, Cam Fuati, looking to end this game. He's got 1 hit and 4 at-bats. And Coach Powell now will go visit the mound. We'll see if he goes to the pen, as Kopicki now at 83 pitches.
And this rain now visibly coming down. It was a drizzle, now it seems to be a steady rain.
Well, Kopicki's day is done. Coach Powell goes to the pen. We will let this mystery man warm up, see where he's from, what he's about, and then come back to see if he can get out of this jam. 4-4 tie here in the bottom of the 12th between Otterbein and Ithaca. You're watching Mideast Regional Baseball here on ACTV. 4-4 tie here in the bottom of the 12th inning as the Cardinals have gone to their pen and taken what we have learned was supposed to be their starter for the next game if they advance. But again, like we have mentioned several times, Robbie, this is an elimination game. And if you don't win, you don't go home. So on the mound for the Cardinals now is Ethan Doty.
Yeah, Coach Powell digging deep right here, making sure those two runners stay put at first and second. The first pitch strike. Ethan Doty, 10 appearances on the year, 8 starts, a 5-1 record with a 5.33 ERA and 50.2 innings pitched. He's given up 35 runs, 30 of them earned, 42 strikeouts to 14 walks, holding batters to a .297 average.
Well, the catcher Wollner on second base. He represents the winning run. Third baseman Fuodi at the dish. And he takes that one high to even things up at 1 apiece. The shortstop Lynch started things off. He flied out to left. Wollner walked on a 3-2 pitch. Then the leadoff man Baresta was hit on a bunt attempt. So runners on first and second with 1 out. And Doty bluffs over to second base. Only 1 out, so Fuodi able to put this one in play to the outfield. We'll see if they try to score Wollner. That one, a curveball in the dirt. A nice block by Feltner as Wollner got about halfway to third before putting on the brakes and going back to second. So 2-1 count now on Fuodi. Doty gets his sign and sets the 2-1. That ball hits the outer black down and away. 2-2 now on the Bombers' third baseman. The 2-2. That ball again in the dirt, but gets by Feltner. Both runners are going to move up. And you got to think with the 3-2 count, they'll probably just put Fuodi on to get the force.
Another tough break. The Otterbein pitchers have thrown some inconvenient wild pitches. One on the intentional walk the last inning that allowed the Bombers to tie the game, now putting 2 runners in scoring position. Like you said, only 1 out. And the Cardinals have backed themselves into a corner.
Well, they're going to pitch to him. The payoff pitch. And a big swing and a miss there. Feltner was calling for Doty to step off the mound. He did not. He ended up firing in a fastball. Fuodi not happy. But there are now 2 outs. But they bring up their 3-hitter, Webb Little, looking to end things here. Runners on second and third. 2 outs and a 4-4 tie in the bottom of the 12th. That first pitch to Webb, high, 1-0. Well, Webb 3 for 6 on the day. He has also scored a run. He's looking to drive one in here. First baseman Barber playing deep at the bag at first. The 1-0. Fouled straight back, 1-1.
Not only has Webb scored a run, he's scored 2. That second one was back in the 11th to re-tie this game up at 4 apiece.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Bottom of the 12th, 4-4 tie. Runners on second and third. The pitch from Doty. Fouled back, 1-2. So Doty 1 strike away from getting out of this jam and sending this ball game to the 13th. The rain continues to fall here at Nicolay Field. Doty set. 1-2. curveball that Webb able to get a piece of. And the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Both fan bases fairly quiet as the tension continues to rise here. As Doty shakes off Feltner, shakes him off again, and time will be called by Webb Little at the plate. Woolner on third, 90 feet away from ending this thing. The 1-2. It's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop who slips on the turf. And he's safe at first. Ithaca ends it on a slip of the shortstop, Beachy. And just like that, Otterbein's season comes to an end. Unbelievable. What looked like a routine grounder, and he just slips because of the rain.
A heartbreaking loss for Otterbein. Really, not a worse way to end the season. A walk-off on what should have been a routine, but like you said, because of the weather, just wasn't meant to be apparently.
So despite leaving 15 men on base, Ithaca somehow pulls it off by a score of 5-4 after 12 innings.
Yeah, a gutsy performance by both teams. But as we've been saying, not only in this game, but through the whole tournament so far, leaving runners on base is what's going to end most of these teams' season. Otterbein, a very clean game from both pitching to defense. Of course, you can't give an error to the shortstop right there. That was a weather thing, but 0 errors today. It came down to not scoring runs when they had runners on base. Now, they scored 3 quick coming out of the gate. It looked like Emmett Dunn just didn't have what he needed to pitch today. Cardinals took advantage of that, putting good swings on the ball all day. But it seemed as soon as somebody would get on base, the bats would go cold, and that's what ended their season. But like I said, you cannot give enough credit to both the Bombers and Otterbein, proving why they both deserve to be here in this tournament. Unfortunately for the Cardinals, their run comes to an end after 2 games.
Just an unfortunate loss for the Cardinals, but a great season nonetheless. We congratulate them on a terrifically played 2018 campaign. Meanwhile, Ithaca moves on. They live to fight another day. And Robbie, who do they play next?
Well, Ithaca will play the loser of game number 7. That's up next, probably in about 45 minutes, between Shenandoah and Worcester. That game will be tomorrow, the 10 a.m. game, so bright and early here. And like we said, Otterbein, a great season. Congratulations to them for making it this far. Unfortunately, they have to dip out of the tournament, but also big congratulations to the Bombers. 2 gutsy performances in the tournament so far, and they are 1 step closer to getting the crown.
Well, Ithaca has only gone out 0-2 3 times in their NCAA tournament appearances. We see it will not be that case in 2018 as they live to see another day. Next game was scheduled for 4:30. It is now 10-5. And as we see, they have put the tarp out on the mound with a cell moving north into Adrian. We will keep you posted on the Adrian Bulldogs Twitter on how these games will play out and the times they are supposed to start. But thank you all for joining us on what was quite the Game 6, an elimination game between Otterbein and Ithaca that ended on a slip because of the wet turf. But Ithaca wins this one by a score of 5-4 in 12 innings. And we will see you for the next game, whenever that one may be. This was Cody Alexander on the call with my colleague and twin brother, Robbie Alexander. Once again, we thank you for joining us, and continue to stay tuned and continue watching ACTV for all of your 2018 NCAA Mideast Regional action.